What happens when a black woman is forced out of her paid business class seat to make room for a white man? No apology, no explanation. She didn't shout, she didn't argue. She simply reached into her bag, made one phone call, and within 10 minutes, 58 flights were grounded. What they didn't know was that the woman they tried to downgrade owned nearly 1/5 of the airline. This is the story of Gloria Harris, the CEO they tried to humiliate, who changed the rules instead. And if you're listening right now, you should ask yourself, what seat are you giving up? And who's asking you to move? Before we begin, let me ask, where are you listening from today? Atlanta, Chicago, Oakland, Lagos? Wherever you are, if this story moves you, don't forget to follow, share, and subscribe to this channel. Now, let's go back to gate B4, the moment everything started to unravel. "She can move to the back," the young gate agent said, tapping her tablet without looking up. Her tone wasn't angry. It was clean, sharp, dismissive, like she was brushing lint from her blazer. Gloria Harris stood motionless. Black slacks, ivory blouse, soft leather handbag over one arm. Nothing flashy, nothing to prove. Her voice was calm. "Excuse me?" "I said," the agent repeated, glancing now, "this section is full. We had a late upgrade. You'll need to move to the rear cabin." She didn't say coach. She didn't say sorry. Just move to the rear. Gloria pulled out her boarding pass. "Business class 3D, checked in yesterday." The gate agent took it with 2 fingers, scanned, looked again, then pursed her lips like she'd tasted something sour. "That's strange," she murmured, then louder, "You're not on the active seating chart anymore. You've been reseated." "By who?" "Management," she said vaguely. "Sometimes we need to accommodate priority guests." "No big deal." Behind Gloria, other passengers were lining up. A white man in a tailored jacket passed easily into the jet bridge. His seat? Also 3D. Gloria turned slightly, eyes narrowing. The gate agent noticed. "Ma'am, let's not make this into something it's not." Her smile was tight. "We just need cooperation." Someone nearby started recording, a quiet click as a phone tilted upward. A whisper. "She's not gonna just go, right?" Another. "You see how they do?" Still, most people said nothing. They watched. They waited, like a test, to see if Gloria would raise her voice or stay in her place. She didn't move, didn't flinch, didn't blink. Her voice was low, controlled. "I booked this flight 2 weeks ago, paid full fare, business class. I have a contract to be in Boston by noon. I am not moving to the back." The agent's smile hardened. "Then you'll need to wait here." "You're holding up the line." Her voice had gone cold now, louder, enough for others to hear. "Security can assist if necessary." More phones came out. A woman behind Gloria cleared her throat. "Excuse me, but I saw her boarding pass. That's her seat. What's going on?" The agent ignored her. "Ma'am, step aside or we'll have to call in a supervisor." "Do that," Gloria said. The air shifted. Behind the glass doors of the jetway, Gloria could see the man in 3D, the white man, already sipping a mimosa. He hadn't looked back once. Her phone vibrated. A single line flashed across the lock screen. "Command room online, stand by." She locked the screen again without a word. The gate agent was already speaking into her headset. "Passenger refusing reassignment, requesting gate supervisor." Gloria still hadn't moved. Someone whispered again, "She's not leaving. I think they picked the wrong one." A pause, then one more comment, soft but heavy. "Why does this keep happening to us?" She still hadn't moved. A minute had passed, maybe 2. but it felt like time had folded in on itself, like everyone in the terminal was stuck watching some silent standoff. One man in a suit leaned toward the woman beside him. "That lady's not backing down." "Good for her," the woman muttered. "They always do this to us when they think we won't say anything." The gate agent was now biting the inside of her cheek. She tapped her earpiece. "Yeah, still here." Passenger not complying. She's saying she was assigned 3D, but it's showing reassigned. Her voice had dropped in pitch, trying to keep it professional, but there was something new now. Doubt. A second agent joined her. Older, white, glasses too small for his face. He glanced at Gloria, then at the screen. His brow furrowed. "Try refreshing the manifest," he said. "Passenger name, Harris, Gloria Harris." Click, click, scroll. "It's odd. She was confirmed yesterday. I see the upgrade for the other passenger, but there's no cancellation on her record." The younger agent's face tightened. "Well, it's done now. She'll need to board in coach or wait for the next flight." Gloria said nothing. She had removed a pair of thin gloves and was now slipping them into her handbag with a slow, deliberate motion. That's when a younger man 2 rows back noticed it. The watch on her wrist. He leaned closer. "Yo," he whispered to the woman beside him. "Is that a Patek Philippe? Like the real deal?" The woman blinked. "You sure?" "Pretty damn sure. That's not something you find at Macy's." Another woman nearby caught the tail end of the whisper. She turned toward Gloria. Gloria's eyes didn't move, but her posture shifted. She was fully aware of the looks, the glances, the murmurs, but she stayed silent. A second vibration hit her phone. She read the screen briefly. "Clearance pending. Systems warming. Say the word." She closed the screen again, calm, measured. The older gate agent looked increasingly uncomfortable. "Let's just print her a coach boarding pass," he said, a little too fast. "Get her on the plane so we can go." The younger one raised her eyebrows. "Are you kidding? You want to delay the flight for this?" But now a third voice joined. From just behind the check-in desk, a man in maintenance overalls, dark-skinned, maybe 40s. He was quietly sipping coffee, leaning against the wall. He had been watching the whole thing. He didn't shout, didn't even speak loudly. He just said, almost to himself, "You know who that is." The gate agents looked over. "She don't need this flight. This flight needs her." The younger agent blinked. "What?" The man chuckled softly. "You'll see." He walked off without waiting for a response. Back in line, the murmurs were rising. "Who is she? What kind of messages is she getting? That watch? That's a $90 0 K watch, easy. She doesn't even look nervous." This ain't normal. The jetway door beeped open. The passenger who had taken seat 3D, the white man, poked his head out. "Excuse me, can we get this resolved? Some of us have meetings." The younger agent stiffened. "We're working on it, sir, just a moment." The man looked at Gloria, rolled his eyes. "It's not that complicated, lady. Just take your seat in the back and stop holding up the flight." He disappeared back into the jetway. The tension snapped. A black woman near the wall said, "Oh, hell no. Did you hear him? She paid for that seat." Another voice added, "She's not causing a scene. You are." Gloria stayed silent, but one corner of her mouth lifted. Barely. The younger gate agent turned back to her. "Ma'am, last chance. You either board in coach or you're off this flight." Gloria pulled out her phone again, typed a single word. "Proceed." Then she looked the agent in the eye, calm, steady. "I'm not the one causing the delay." The gate agent had opened her mouth to respond, but a soft ding interrupted her headset. She touched the earpiece. "Repeat that?" Her brow furrowed. "What do you mean, all gate hold suspended?" Gloria stepped aside, not retreating, just giving the agent space to squirm. The older agent checked his terminal. His fingers froze. "Terminal system just reset," he muttered. "That's not possible." That's not a scheduled reboot. The morning monitor blinked twice, then flashed red. Temporary system suspension. Bypass. Summoned. Initiated. The younger agent tapped the screen like it had insulted her. Why is this happening? From the background, another staff member rushed up. Her badge read Zone Control, North Division. Which flight is this? She snapped. Why is your gate flagged red in my console? The agent stammered. I was just following procedure. Gloria was already dialing. She didn't hide it. She didn't lower her voice. She spoke 4 words. Calm, crisp, commanding. Begin full escalation protocol. Silence. Even the woman from Zone Control turned slowly. I'm sorry, she asked. Who, exactly, are you? Gloria looked at her. One eyebrow lifted, like a question had been answered before it was asked. I'd suggest you notify your chief of ops, she said simply. He'll want to get ahead of this. She tucked the phone back in her handbag. Nothing dramatic, just complete authority. A soft ping came through the terminal's PA system, then another. Then all boarding screens on the concourse dimmed. One voice whispered, Yo, did she just shut down the airport? Another murmured, That wasn't just a phone call. That was the call. Inside the jetway, the passenger in 3D looked up. His mimosa was still half full, but the plane door hadn't closed. The attendants were whispering now, one holding a phone, another pointing to the cockpit. Gloria's phone buzzed. Command override acknowledged. Flight activity frozen. Awaiting next directive. The woman in Zone Control was on her radio now, urgent tones rising. Yes. Gloria Harris, passenger, business class, gate B4. I think we've made a mistake. A silence settled over the terminal, a stillness like air pressure dropping before a storm. The young gate agent stepped back. She didn't apologize. She didn't speak, she just stared, because whatever she thought was happening was already too late to stop. The woman from Zone Control was still holding her radio, lips pressed tight. Ma'am, you'll need to come with me, she said carefully. Not demanding, not rude, just cautious, like she'd realized she might be standing too close to something highly flammable. Gloria didn't flinch. She nodded once. Of course. Let's not block the rest of the concourse. Her tone wasn't bitter. It was efficient. The murmurs followed her like shadows as she walked toward the side security door. That's her. She's got them scrambling. Yo, did you see the gate screen? They've never shut those off before. She made one call. Just one. Inside the operations corridor, the air smelled of cleaning agents and cold metal. Gloria walked steadily, heels clicking in measured rhythm. Behind her, a junior staffer in a navy vest was pulling up something on a tablet. I just don't understand, he muttered. It says she's on our do not interrupt list. Level 4 clearance. The woman from Zone Control stopped walking. Wait, that's reserved for federal agents and VIP government partners. He turned the tablet toward her. There it was, Gloria's name flagged with a gold band. Beneath it, non-interrupt override, active, operational priority, 1. They both stared. No one said anything for a beat. Then, who is she? In the back hallways, they led Gloria to a private conference room overlooking the tarmac. No passengers, just frosted glass and one table with 4 chairs. She placed her handbag down, removed her gloves, sat. Her phone buzzed again. Global movement halted. East Coast ops in passive hold. Boston terminals awaiting directive. Across the glass, a line of flights now showed delay statuses. Not just here. Newark, Charlotte, D.C. The Zone Control officer stood outside the room, phone to her ear. Yes, gate B4. Harris. Gloria. No, I don't know who authorized the override. It came through command network. Yes, I've confirmed. She triggered full stealth escalation from ground level. The man on the other end said something she didn't like. She went pale. "Sir, yes, I understand, but we didn't know who she was." She turned to glance at Gloria through the glass, still seated, still calm. Not a single bead of sweat on her brow, just watching planes line up and sit still, like obedient dogs waiting for a leash. Inside the terminal, passengers were growing restless. Why isn't boarding resuming? Is it mechanical? Is she some kind of exec? Nah, something bigger. I saw her screen. She didn't open a phone app. She opened a dashboard. That wasn't texting. That was issuing orders. And then, an alert hit every terminal staff tablet, a flashing icon, executive incident flag. Priority 1, a telehub. Under it, temporary operations freeze authorized, await further instruction. One woman in HR upstairs spilled coffee on herself. She just froze every gate in the zone? Yup. Jesus. A man beside her whispered, "That's not a passenger, that's infrastructure." Upstairs, in the executive floor of the Atlanta hub, a group of managers stood over a single laptop. No one was talking. The screen showed a profile. Harris, Gloria Elena, founder and CEO, Harris Global Logistics, net contracts with Delta Air, United, Atlantic Express, est $480.00 M annually. That's her. She owns everything that moves in this country. Oh my God, we just bumped the woman who funds 30% of our fuel distribution contracts. The legal officer stepped back. Did we authorize this seat reassignment? No, someone said. It was automated by seat optimization protocol. A pause. Then, someone better tell corporate that the algorithm just tried to humiliate a billionaire. Downstairs, 2 interns stood by the check-in kiosk. One had pulled up YouTube on his phone. "Yo, look at this." A video of the gate argument, already 6,000 views. Caption: "Black woman asked to move so white man can sit in 3D and then this happened." The comments were vicious. "She owns the runway, sis. This is giving you messed with the wrong black woman energy. Somebody about to lose their job before lunch." A call came in to the VP of Network Operations. He listened in silence for 12 seconds. "Hey, kitty." She ordered full East Coast freeze. Another pause. "How many flights delayed?" 53, and growing. He stood, tugged at his tie, spoke one word. "Where?" "She." In the private room, Gloria was reviewing a file on her tablet. Flight volumes, fuel logistics, timestamps. Her fingers moved fast, efficient, without flair. A soft knock at the door. The woman from zone control entered. Slower this time, hands folded, eyes lowered. "Ms. Harris, would you accept a private meeting with our Director of Strategic Relations?" Gloria looked up. "In 15 minutes. I'll need a secure comms line, and I suggest you prepare a draft apology. Public-facing, simple language." The woman nodded too quickly. "Of course, yes, absolutely." She rushed out like air escaping a tire. In the break room, 3 junior tech analysts were scanning flight impact charts. "What's the fallout if she pulls all contracts?" "We'd lose 2/4 of fuel funding overnight. And ground freight? And customs clearance for 17 hubs." One analyst closed her laptop. "I just texted my aunt. She works for Harris Global. She said Gloria doesn't speak unless she's already won." They all went silent. Then were so fired. At Gate B4, the crowd was bigger now. Passengers weren't just watching, they were live streaming. "Yo, she's still in there. Someone said her company moves more cargo than FedEx in 3 states. If she shuts this airline down, I'm buying her merch." A man in sunglasses passed by slowly, speaking into his phone. "Yeah, Harris Global. It's her. They're calling it the quiet shutdown." First time an entire terminal is frozen for one woman without a single protest. Back in the private room, Gloria stood, straightened her blouse, picked up her bag. Her phone buzzed again. "Boston team rerouting. All assets await go/no-go from you directly." She replied with one word. "Hold." Then she turned toward the hallway, calm, precise, and walked out to meet the Director of Strategic Relations. Not a wrinkle out of place, not a single hair moved. The building moved for her. The hallway was too quiet, not peaceful, not calm, but stretched. Like fabric pulled tight, one tug from snapping. Every employee Gloria passed turned subtly, to glance, to whisper, to pretend they weren't holding their breath. The Director of Strategic Relations, a tall white man with a buzz cut and $900 0-cent shoes, was already standing in the meeting suite. He extended a hand. Gloria didn't shake it. She sat first. Then she spoke. "I'll save you the corporate pleasantries. I assume you know who I am by now." He cleared his throat. "Yes, Miss Harris, and let me say, on behalf of the airline, we're deeply sorry for—" She raised a single hand. "Don't. This isn't about feelings or words. It's about systems. You don't fix what happened at Gate B4 by apologizing to me. You fix it by admitting your structure was designed to fail people like me." He froze, hands folded, waiting. "I've halted 53 flights," Gloria continued, "with one call, without raising my voice, without breaking a single regulation." He nodded, cautiously. We noticed." Gloria tapped her tablet. A chart lit up on screen behind her. Contracts, financial flows, supplier routing. If Harris Global walks, you don't just lose freight. You lose 17 customs fast lanes. You lose bulk fuel leverage in 11 hubs. You lose credibility with federal logistics councils. He opened his mouth, then thought better of it. "I understand," he said finally. "So, what is it you want?" Gloria smiled, but it wasn't warmth. It was clarity. "Not yet. Not until your CEO is in the room." He blinked. "Our CEO? Ms. Wexler? I don't know if she's even in the building." Gloria stood. "You have 8 minutes." She walked toward the door, stopped, turned back. "Tell her this. I'm not here to argue. I'm not here to settle." She stepped closer, voice like marble scraping granite. "I'm here to change the way this industry works." And then she said it, the line that would be quoted in every article, replayed in every video recap for months. "And starting today, I'm the one giving orders." 8 minutes later, the door opened, and in stepped Cynthia Wexler, CEO of Dominion Air Group. Expensive suit, high heels, cold smile. She entered like someone used to controlling the room, but today the room already had a center, and it wasn't her. "Miss Harris," Cynthia said with only the bare minimum of politeness. "I'm told there was a misunderstanding at the gate." Gloria didn't rise, didn't blink. "You weren't told the truth then. There was no misunderstanding. There was a decision made by an algorithm your company controls to remove a black woman from her paid business class seat and place a white man in her place." Cynthia's smile didn't budge, but her voice stiffened. "I apologize for the inconvenience." Gloria finally stood. She pulled a document folder from her bag, every movement slow, precise, inevitable. "This isn't about me, it's about what happens when your company lets systems act without accountability." She laid the first document on the table, a notarized certificate. As of Q3 last year, Harris Global acquired 18.7% ownership stake in Dominion Air Group Holdings through a mix of freight routing contracts, fuel consortium leverage, and convertible equity assets. Cynthia blinked. Once, then again. "Excuse me?" Gloria laid down a second paper, Board Observer Status Agreement. Per Clause 19C of our agreement, any material breach of equity respecting passenger service may trigger a full governance audit. You didn't just humiliate a paying customer, you violated a clause that opens your boardroom to me, today." Cynthia looked toward her general counsel. He looked like he wanted to melt into his chair. Gloria wasn't done. "Here's the list of flights currently halted under my directive." She handed over a printed sheet. 58 routes, 23 airports, 11.4 million in estimated hourly loss. "I didn't shut them down to punish you. I shut them down to get your attention." Cynthia tried to recover. "Ms. Harris, perhaps we can take this offline. You clearly have concerns worth reviewing." Gloria cut in, not with volume but with precision. "You don't get to reframe this as a conversation. This is a reckoning." She turned to face the window, where the tarmac stretched out rows of planes grounded in obedient silence. "I didn't build my company by raising my voice. I built it by knowing when to press the right pressure point." Then she turned back. "And right now, I'm pressing yours." Gloria didn't sit back down. She stepped to the center of the room like she owned it, because she did. She looked directly at Cynthia Wexler. "Effective immediately, I'm enacting Clause 21B. The general counsel went pale. "That's the internal reform clause," he said quietly. "It hasn't been used in ever," Gloria finished. "And now it will be." She placed a hard drive on the table. "This contains a new operations protocol. Bias response workflow. Real-time incident tracking. Immediate accountability triggers." Cynthia looked rattled. "You're rewriting how we do HR?" "No," Gloria said. "I'm rewriting how you do people." She turned to the assistant in the corner. "Bring up the employee network." Within seconds, a touch screen lit up. Hundreds of dots, each one a crew member. Gloria tapped 3 names. Gate Agent 104, suspended pending investigation. Flight Supervisor ATL BOs, placed on administrative leave. Scheduling Director responsible for reassignment logic, removed from duty. She paused. "This is not vengeance, this is audit." The screen updated. Next to each name, a red badge appeared. Under review. Bias Protocol 1A. Gloria continued. "All frontline staff will undergo mandatory equity simulation within 10 days. New software patch deploys in 72 hours. Seat optimization algorithm will no longer make changes without dual human approval." The VP of Ops tried to interject. "That'll slow boarding speeds by 3.4 seconds per flight," Gloria finished. "Worth it. Precision can no longer be an excuse for prejudice." She turned back to Cynthia. "You will issue a public apology, not buried in a press release. I want it read on camera by someone in your C-suite, with names, including mine." Cynthia swallowed hard. "You're forcing us into the spotlight." "No," Gloria said. "I'm forcing you into the mirror." Across the network, notifications began cascading. Supervisors blinked at their screens. One in Chicago gasped. Another in Miami sat back, stunned. Because across the company, it was happening. Reset. In real time. Airports paused, screens flickered, training modules pushed live. At Gate B4, the monitors changed first. Flight 281 temporarily delayed. Reboarding in 12 minutes. Special announcement pending. Passengers watched in silence. Then a voice came over the PA. "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience. We acknowledge that a serious incident occurred involving one of our passengers. We are implementing new protocols across all terminals as we speak." Phones came out again. People whispered. "That's her doing this. She flipped the whole company inside out." In the boardroom, Gloria placed one final sheet of paper on the table. "This is a memo to shareholders. It outlines why we acted and why we'll be stronger for it." Cynthia scanned it, then looked up. "It's fair, firm. It's what transparency looks like. Then Gloria offered something unexpected. "You have a choice, Cynthia. You can resist this and watch your company lose trust for a decade, or you can join me and make this the turning point." Cynthia sat very still, then nodded. "I'm in." The conference room at Dominion Air Group had never been this full, or this quiet. 15 people sat around the oval table, C-suite execs, legal, ops, PR, and 2 trembling VPs. In the center, a single speakerphone, connected live to Atlanta. "Is Ms. Harris on?" the CEO asked. "I'm here," Gloria replied, calm, controlled, as if she were conducting a seminar, not reprogramming an airline. "This is the emergency governance session per Clause 21B, she continued. "Let's begin." Slide 1 lit up, a chart of demographic data, customers versus crew versus leadership. "You operate in a world that looks like this," Gloria said, "but your decision makers all look like this." The second slide, 87% white, 79% male, 0% black women at VP level or higher. One VP shifted in his chair. "We hire the best person for the job," he said defensively. "No, you hire the most familiar person for the job," Gloria countered. "And familiarity is the breeding ground of bias." Slide 3. Discrimination complaints filed over 12 months, 83 unresolved. Slide 4. Settlements paid quietly without correction plans. "This isn't just moral failure," Gloria said. "It's operational risk." And today, that risk matured into public crisis. The COO wiped sweat from his brow. "What do you propose?" he asked. "Immediate reform, transparent, enforceable, visible." She shared her screen. 6-point emergency reform protocol. Public apology within 24 hours must include names, departments, and acknowledgement of systemic failure. Bias reporting system live in 3 days. Anonymous, third-party managed. Reports tracked in executive KPIs. Training overhaul. All customer-facing staff must complete new DEI simulation module within 30 days. Managers must pass certification or be reassigned. Equity board observer seat. Permanent voting rights for a third-party equity advisor, not company staff. Real-time metrics dashboard. Public, displayed on company website. Updates every quarter. Executive accountability clause. 15% of bonus pool tied directly to equity and incident reduction scores. Silence. Then the CFO cleared her throat. "You're asking us to build a new company." "No," Gloria said. "I'm asking you to save the one you already broke." The legal chief leaned forward. "It's aggressive, but it's clean. Every bullet point has a compliance trail. She's giving us a way to survive this without lawsuits if we act fast." The CEO sat back, looked around the room, then picked up her pen. "We'll begin implementation today, effective immediately." A few people exhaled, some from relief, others from fear of what came next. Later that night, a memo went out across the airline. "Emergency reform protocol is now in effect. Dominion Air Group commits to rebuilding a company where all passengers and staff are treated with dignity." And in Atlanta, Gloria finally stood from the chair in her temporary office. Her phone buzzed. "Board vote unanimous. Protocol approved. CEO requests follow-up in 48 hours. She typed one word, "confirm." Then she looked out at the tarmac, planes rolling again under a new system. Not perfect, not final, but finally different. Tonight on national headlines, the Gloria Harris effect. After one woman grounded over 50 flights and forced one of the largest airlines in the country to overhaul its internal system, companies across the nation are watching and reacting. In Seattle, Ryanair CEO calls emergency board meeting after staff demand bias audits. "If Dominion got caught," one employee said, "what makes you think we're clean?" In New Orleans, a baggage handler, black, 62, named Lenora walks into HR for the first time in 15 years, not to file a complaint, but to ask for a seat on the Internal Ethics Committee. Ms. Harris made me realize maybe silence wasn't strength. Maybe it was survival. And maybe now it's time to live different. On TikTok, clips from the Gate B4 standoff hit 7.4 million views. This lady froze an entire terminal and didn't even raise her voice. She walked in like a customer, walked out like a board member. She didn't clap back. She changed the clap itself. One woman live streams herself standing in front of the Dominion counter with a sign, "Respect is not upgrade eligible, it's baseline." In Washington, D.C., Senator Latrice Knowles holds a press briefing. "We are introducing the Passenger Equity Act, inspired in part by the actions of Ms. Gloria Harris, because no black woman should need a billion-dollar company behind her name to be treated like she belongs in seat 3D. Reporters ask if she's spoken to Gloria. The senator smiles. She doesn't need to be in this room. She already changed the room we're standing in. In a classroom in Detroit, a teenage girl presents her social studies project. My hero is Gloria Harris. She didn't yell. She didn't beg. She just showed them who actually owned the seat. Her teacher, Miss Daniels, nods, eyes misty. That's history, baby. And it's still boarding. Back at Gloria's office, her assistant reads through emails. This one's from Tokyo, a logistics firm asking for consultation. Another one from Kenya. The National Airport Authority wants to adopt your audit model. And this one? It's from someone who used to work here. Gloria looks up. Read it. Her assistant clears her throat. You don't know me, but I watched everything. I'm the woman they bumped off that flight before you. I stayed silent, but not anymore. You showed us what quiet power looks like. And now, I've applied to be the first black female controller at JFK. Sorry. Gloria doesn't smile, she breathes, deep, clear, anchored. Let's respond. Tell her I'll see her in the control tower. The airport in Atlanta was different now. Not on the surface, same gates, same walls, same tired coffee kiosks, but underneath, something had shifted. Staff moved with sharper eyes. Gate agents spoke slower. Security officers didn't just scan for threats, they scanned for decency. In Terminal D, a small plaque was mounted near Gate B4. It was simple. Brush steel. 7 words. One voice can reset a runway. Big Harris, travelers paused there sometimes, touched it, took photos. Some didn't know the story, but most did. At Dominion Air HQ, a frame print hung in the boardroom. A screenshot of the system at the exact moment the protocol reset went live. Red badges paused flights, Gloria's name in the corner, underneath a quote, "Not vengeance, audit." In Chicago, a young black woman sat at her new desk, air traffic control, first week, first headset. She straightened her posture, glanced at her training badge, then whispered to no one in particular, "Seat 3D stays right where she paid for it." Meanwhile, in New York, a logistics summit hosted by Harris Global was underway. Gloria stood behind the curtain, waiting to go on stage. The moderator turned to her. "You're trending again. Boardroom B4 is now a whole hashtag. You ready to be iconic again today?" Gloria didn't laugh. Didn't blink. "I'm not here to be iconic. I'm here to be the new standard." She walked out. No flash, no music, just footsteps. But the room stood anyway. Because the woman who had once been asked to move had moved an entire industry instead. And to close today's session, the host said, we invite Ms. Gloria Harris, founder of Harris Global Logistics, to speak on structural power, systems design, and what comes after accountability. The crowd quieted. Gloria stepped up to the mic. She looked out, not at faces, but at generations. Then said, "We keep thinking the system is broken, but it's not. It was built exactly this way, to work for some and not for others. My job wasn't to fix it, my job was to replace it. She paused, then leaned forward, and I did. Thank you for staying with me until the very end. Gloria's story isn't just about a seat or a flight or even an airline. It's about every room a black woman has been told she doesn't belong in, every system that counts on our silence, and what happens when instead of asking for space, we take ownership of the entire room. To me, this story is a reminder. Power isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just steady, clear, and undeniable. If you felt something listening to this story, if it reminded you of your own battles, your mother's voice, your grandmother's fire, then leave a comment. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And most of all, subscribe. We've got more stories to tell and more systems to rebuild together.